If the numbers are extremely low, then I think we get to declare total failure of the program. If the numbers are extremely high, then I think we get to declare fraud. So currently there are 8 different lawsuits pending, of which I have 7. And on the 8th one, we represent amici, which are friends of the court. So let me just give you a quick rundown on everything going on in the judicial branch, which may then end up having some success that we seem not to be having in the legislative branch. Start with our recent victory in Robinson versus Cuomo. Yay. First lawsuit in 2.5 years to actually do something against the governor. Bill Robinson, if you don't know him, you should listen to his radio show. It's completely outrageous. It's on 3 times a week on WYSL, 1040 AM. It's also podcast, so just if you Google Bill Robinson Second Amendment radio show, it'll come up. It's like therapy. I mean, it's just lovely. You listen to him for an hour and you're good. All the world's good. Bill's got it nailed. January of 2014, Bill said to me, I want to sue somebody. Yeah, like, I'm a lawyer. Yeah, okay, let's do that. Who do you want to sue? The governor. Okay, who else do you want? New York State Police. So we came up with a Freedom of Information request that we thought was fairly simple. The Assault Weapons Registry statistics. Okay, it's numbers, aggregate numbers. That's all we're looking for. Connecticut, which also had a registration deadline, released its numbers within a day or two of the registration deadline. The Hartford Courant covered it. It was like the only newspaper to cover it, and it was done. It was finished. It was like a non-issue. Okay, this many people registered. There was a registration program in California in the 1970s. Canada had one that it abandoned. Australia had one it abandoned. So, hey, we can kind of cross-compare these numbers. This is academically interesting. New York, of course. This is the governor who says, I'm so transparent. I'm going to put in ethics commissions and then disband them. And yeah, you all already know that. You are a highly educated political audience. But he wouldn't give us the numbers. And recently, Judge McNamara of the Albany County Supreme Court, that is our state's lowest court, our trial court level, issued a 7-page decision, 6 pages of which shredded the state's attorney's arguments. It's a beautiful thing. If you haven't read it and you're feeling at all frustrated or like your energy is low on fighting for repeal of the SAFE Act, just read his decision. It's 6 pages of nothing the state said held up in court. Nothing. And then there's just this one sentence, ordered, and just to paraphrase, it says, give Bill everything he asked for. It's a beautiful thing. As a lawyer, I'm going to frame this decision, all 7 pages, just straight across my wall, because what judge has ever been so clear? But of course, this is the state of New York. So, Judge McNamara's decision comes out. It means the state's supposed to give us the numbers immediately. They call me for an extension. You gotta love this. On the other end of the phone is this poor associate attorney. It's not even like the lead attorney. It's not like Schneiderman calls me himself to say, oh, counsel, let's have a peer-to-peer conversation. Can we have an extension? No. It sends in this associate attorney to call me to ask for an extension. Long story short, there are 3 lawsuits, Robinson versus Cuomo, Gun Owners of America versus Cuomo, and Scope versus Cuomo. So all 3 lawsuits I have, we ended up with a combined return date of June 22nd. That's Monday. That gave them a month to figure out what they were doing with 2 of the 3 lawsuits. The 3rd one, Gun Owners of America and I have decisions to make, and so that will happen on Monday. But no numbers, no hint of a number. So to skip ahead to what are we going to do, there are basically 3 things that might happen as of Monday midnight. Number 1, they release the numbers. If I'm working for the governor, I would have gotten out ahead of this thing the day McNamara issued his decision and had a press conference and released the numbers and respected the court and thank you, and here we are and we're done. I suspect it may lead to a little celebrating by Second Amendment supporters, but that'll blow over in the next news story, and mainstream media doesn't cover us much anyway, so just give it up and get it out, maybe on a Friday at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Instead, now, like every media outlet in the state of New York is so plugged into Monday that it's actually going to get coverage. So maybe they release the numbers. Another option is they file a notice of appeal. Now, mind you, Judge McNamara was clear they had no merit. So what will happen if they file their notice of appeal on Monday is we will file a motion to lift the automatic stay that would kick in by filing the notice of appeal. And we have two of the three possible legal arguments that could be made. Number one, there is no merit to the appeal. Therefore, they should have no protection on the appeal. Number two, it's only being taken for delay. I think it's pretty clear. That's exactly the governor's strategy in just about everything he does relative to our rights. And Judge McNamara was clear in his decision that the fact that we allowed the New York State Police to have a period of 10 months during which we made numerous efforts, both at written and spoken communication, to get through the FOIL request to get results short of suing was more than enough. What's the third option? You know, it's kind of like, what are the odds of this? Extremely slim, but if it happens, it's very dramatic. So the third option is they do nothing. And midnight comes and goes, and Tuesday morning comes, and I still have nothing. On Wednesday, we would then file a motion in contempt against the superintendent of the New York State Police. Just for your legal education, a motion in contempt, if we prevail, could carry a monetary fine and up to 6 months in jail. If you are the governor's PR department, that is really not the option you want to exercise. You don't even want to let us file that motion, because that's just way too good for us in, I think, a lot of ways. So that's the power play, and that's the power struggle as it stands. What will the numbers stand for once we finally get the numbers? Your guess is as good as mine. If the numbers are extremely low, then I think we get to declare total failure of the program. If the numbers are extremely high, then I think we get to declare fraud. Because if they were extremely high, why would you not have released them to begin with? I mean, there simply is no logical explanation at this point for high numbers. There's always this other possibility, and you know, it is New York, that for those of you who took to doing it by paper, they never input it. And for those who did it online, it failed.